Let's continue with chapter number 12 from your economics book of grade 10, and the name of the chapter is Consumer Awareness, and today we're going to start from consumer rights. One of the most important components of consumer awareness is to educate the consumers about their basic rights as consumers. The most important step in consumer education is awareness of consumer rights even among school children. Hence, such awareness programs is now introduced in many of the school curriculums. So first is right to safety. It implements the right to protect against marketing of such goods and services which are hazardous to our health and property. The goods and services purchased by any consumer should not only meet his or her immediate need, but also fulfill his or her long-term interest. Like for example, we can talk about the medicine may give immediate relief to the patient for his or her from his or her pain, but the medicine might result in serious long-term health hazards. Right, next, right to information. Right to information implements the right of an consumer to be informed about the quality, quantity, purity, standard, and price of the product so as to protect him or her against unfair trading. When we purchase some medicine, we can find information relating to the side effects of that drug. Point number 3, right to choose. It implements that a consumer has a right to choose from among the variety of goods and services available for him or her at a competitive price. The options may before the consumer can be widened in two ways. One is through the increase in production of various goods and services in the society, and two is through an increase in the purchasing power of the average consumer. Right to be heard. It implements that the interest of the consumers will receive due consideration at appropriate forums. Thus, any consumer has the right to raise his or her voice against unfair and restricted trade practices. It also includes the right to the represented in various forums formed to protect the interest of the consumers and increase consumer welfare. Right to seek redressal. It implements the right of a consumer to seek redressal or his or her grievance against unfair trade practices, or you can say exploitation of the consumer by the traders. Next and the last one is consumer right to consumer education. The consumer also has the right to acquire adequate knowledge and skill to become an educated and informed consumer throughout his or her life. The ignorance of the consumers about their right, the procedures of redressal, their grievances against unfair trade practices, and the process of identifying such unfair practices are mainly responsible for their exploitation by the traders in marketplace. This is particularly true in case of consumers residing in the rural areas of India. So, what are the silent features of COPRA? So the silent feature of the Consumer Protection Act 1986, the act first point is the act lead to the establishment of the Central Consumer Protection Council and the State Consumer Protection Council for the purpose of spreading social awareness. Second, to provide cheap, speedy, and simple redressal to consumer disputes, a quasi-judicial machinery is set up at each district, state, and national level called as District Forum, State Consumer Disputes Redressal Commission, and National Consumer Disputes Redressal Commission, respectively. At present, there are 604 district forums, 35 state commission, and one apex body, that is the National Consumer Disputes Redressal Commission. A written complaint can be made by any consumer against unfair practices before the district forum of the consumer concentrated or concerned district, before the state commission, that 20 lakh and up to 1 crore, and before the national consumer commission for claims above 1 crore. So point number D is, if a consumer is not satisfied with the verdict order of the district forum, he or she can challenge the same and make an appeal to the state commission, and subsequently he can move on to the next level, that is the national commission. What is right to information? The law came into force since October 2005, and it provides a stationary right to any consumer in getting any relevant information from government or semi-government departments or non-government organizations. The public authority is required to reply within 30 days. Every department of the government appoints one Public Information Office, PIO, to help the consumers, common people. The Right to Information Act allows every citizen, Indian citizen, to access to a variety of information related to information on public policy and procedures, information on departmental record or statistical information regarding the delivery of any service, business information, that is the PWD tenders and information about those kind of thing. And as per the provision of Right to Information Act, the right to information means the right to access the information held by or under the control of any public authority. It also includes inspection of work documents records, taking notes, extracts or certificate copies of the documents or records, taking certificate samples of material, obtaining information in the form of CDs, floppies, tapes, or any kind of records, or video cassettes can also be done, or any kind of electric mode, or maybe computer devices can also be used. Awareness of food adulteration and its harmful effect. Food adulteration means the act of intentionally degrading, spoiling the quality of the food offered for sale, either by adding mixture, different kind of mixture, or substitution of inferior substances, or by the removal of some valuable ingredients from the product. Food is declared adulterated if a harmful substance is intentionally mixed up with the food. 2 is cheaper or inferior substances is substituted either partly or wholly for the true quality. Next, number C is any valuable or necessary constitute, or you can say any the item is removed. It is an imitation of the original one. It is colored or otherwise treated to change its appearance. It contains an added substances that is injurious for health. So food adulteration is common and in almost all developing nations, but its ugly face is not the same everywhere. We can now get examples of such food adulterations in India also, like water is mixed with the addition of water to milk, addition of bricks dust to the chili powder, addition of colored chalk in the turmeric, like putting injection dyes in the watermelon, mixing papaya seeds in black pepper, mixing processed beef fat in butter, mixing wood dust in tea, mixing a coarse grain of sand in rice, mixing small colored clay balls in mustard seed, and application of chemicals as to color brinjals and so on. So, health hazards. So, the adulterated food or drinks are common sources of infection. Some of the health hazards include stomachache, then diarrhea, cholera, anemia, okay, and so on, like gastric kind of problem, and so on. Can be many more other problems, skin problem, eye problem can be there. Thus, food adulteration and its impact on human health should get additional importance while educating the consumer. The consumer should be advised to select food with care. All raw foods must be checked for contamination, practically in areas where hygiene and sanitation are inadequate. So, legal means in 1954, the Prevention of Food Adulteration Act (PFA) was passed in India for the prevention of adulterated food. In 1955, the Prevention of Food Adulteration rules were incorporated as an extension of PFA. This act covers the measures of food standards, general procedures for sampling, analysis of food, powers of the authorized officers, nature of penalties, etc. It also deals with the parameters regulating to use the preservatives, coloring matters, packages, and labeling of food. In 2006, the Food Safety and Standard Act have been passed to check food adulteration. And however, most of the consumers are unaware of this act and rules which can safeguard their interest. So, the consumer should be more organized and aware of their rights. The government should also come forward in supporting the development and of the consumer movement, guide them and make them aware through mass communication campaigns. Only then the food adulteration and control measures would be on the right track. Hopefully you understood. Thank you.